It's an absolute honor for me to have Mark with us. Mark is a mountaineer and an extremely inspirational person. He lost his legs as a search and rescue mountaineer himself, who was stuck in a cave for 13 days. He's the only person to have summited Everest as a double amputee. It's going to be an amazing chat with him. I'm going to get a lot from his life. So, I think you're such an inspirational person, but this journey must have been extremely difficult for you, in the sense that you were a mountaineer who was fully abled and full-bodied. Okay, and what was the transition like from going from someone who was fully able to going back onto the mountain with some disability or disadvantage? What is the mental transition like?
The great advantage is that I was fully able, that I was a mountaineer, because as a mountaineer, since the age of 12, when I lost my legs at 23, it is like you've been given a new mountain with a new first ascent to do. And you bring with you all of your thinking from mountaineering, and all you see is just this amazing challenge. It's not easy, and like all challenges, it has its ups and downs, but you bring with you this overriding sense of confidence that you can actually do it, that you can actually do anything. And that's the thing that many people lack, is just having that confidence in yourself, because that's the 100% reliable thing that you have.
I know when I speak to corporates, I give them this mountain analogy of, in a mountain, you ascend and you descend, and going down is part of going up. If you don't come down, you can't go further up. But it's so hard to see in life, isn't it? It's so hard that when you get knocked back, to see that knock as a stepping stone to moving forward.
Well, I have a very different view, actually.
Please.
Because going down is 10 times harder than going up. As a mountaineer, you never look at the summit. You only ever celebrate a mountain when you get back down to the bottom and you look up. For a double amputee, I can climb up as fast as any mountaineer. But going down, technically, is just so difficult, so slow. Hardest thing I've ever done in my life was climb down Everest, not up Everest. Yeah. And so it's allowed me to look at life, not just looking at the peaks that we look at and that we celebrate, but understanding that each one has a journey down before you get the chance to go back up again. And it adds some resilience.
It's also difficult coming down because there's no motivation. You're so motivated to get to the summit, and when you're coming down, like for a novice climber, the motivation level has completely dropped. Is it the same for you, or?
Not really, because I spent my early life rescuing people who had that sense that coming down was the anticlimax. 80% of deaths on mountains happen going down. Yeah. And so I am lucky to have had that learning. And so for me, the real focus is actually nothing is over until you're down. People are celebrating partway down. No. You have to get down, you turn around, you look back up, and I did that.
Yeah.
But you can only ever do that when you're back down.
When you're back down.
Yeah. It's I tried to explain, there's lots of different ways of explaining mountaineering, but one of the classics is that you're standing on the summit, you battle your way down, you look up, you're elated, but you go, that was so hard, I'm never doing that again. Then shortly afterwards, you go, well, actually, there is a peak that's a bit higher. It's true achievement, because that's the thing that drives, is by having a taste of achievement. That's the thing that becomes addictive.
It's a type A personality that we keep raising the bar and raising the bar. But that's interesting that you say that, because after you lost your limbs, you went back. Was that going back a quest because you were a mountaineer? So your entire identity was surrounded with the mountain. So did you feel that did you feel pressure to go back and achieve this, or was it purpose, or was it something that from a place of enlightenment, or was it from a place of identity?
It's a some of both. There is no pressure to go back because most people think that you cannot do it. The pressure comes in that you have to prove that you can do it, and that comes from inside. The mountain didn't take my legs. My performance on that mountain cost me my legs. And so my challenge was to go back and do it again better. It's to go and stand when I stood back on the summit of Aoraki, Mount Cook, the mountain where I lost my legs, just 100 meters away from the ice cave I spent 13 and a half days in. I was standing there celebrating, not celebrating conquering, but celebrating the view of being able to do so much more. And so for me, as a mountaineer, that is my identity. But it is an identity that I thought I'd lost for a while. But then I came to realize that it's not how everyone else sees you, it's how you see yourself. And the most powerful thing that we can do is project ourselves up into the corner, to look down and see yourself as everyone else does. Otherwise, you can never understand people's compliments and their criticisms, because everyone is very keen to give you advice.
True.
And so it's good to be able to sift it through. And the one thing that I know is I don't know how much a double amputee can ever do. So how can anyone else?
Yeah.
And so it's my part of my mission, part of my being, to keep on pushing that limit, because we need to understand, we need to see how far we can go, otherwise we're not going anywhere.
Yeah. You speak so much of identity, and I understand that. Today's youth are all struggling for identity. They don't know what to call themselves, they don't know what to do, what career to chase. What would be your advice to someone who's struggling with their identity?
Well, it sounds trite, but it's all around finding that passion. It's the having a true passion. That is something that you are just so involved in that it becomes part of you. We need to be able to encourage our youth to find that passion. Now, everyone would see it as being perhaps mountaineering, cricket, rugby. But these days, life has changed.
Yeah.
That passion may be the creation online of something. It may be rapping. It may be whatever, but it's find that passion, and out of that passion will grow a true identity. Just try and make it legal.
Try to make it legal. One statistic that's very scary is that the world lives with more than 450 million people who have some sort of disability, physical disability. And the truth is, as an able-bodied person in society, I constantly look at it from 2 points of view. One is that when I see someone with a disability, I'm extremely empathetic and feeling sorry for them. And that empathy makes me think that they are incapable of. And I feel part of the problem in society. I really like your point of view on how should we look at someone who's got a physical disadvantage, right, in a manner in which that is empowering to them and not disabilitating them further.
Okay, two elements. One is access to resources. Okay, you are always going to be truly disabled if you have no resources, and the resources are very basic. Just a basic limb. That's all you need.
Yeah.
Basic wheelchair. That's all you need. In some cases, a skateboard to sit on. Resources are simple. It grieves me when people feel sorry for me, even though I know that it is coming from a place of love, a place of empathy. It's just, I rail against it. It's like, no. It's we need to challenge disabled, because they are abled.
Yeah.
They're just differently abled.
Correct.
India here, in the 10 years that I have been visiting, has been preaching not disability but a different ability,
Correct.
differently abled. But it's one thing to say it, but it's another to do
To
it.
do it.
It is, and it takes each and every one of all of us to do it. Importantly, it takes the disabled person to accept the challenge.
Yeah.
That is also equally challenging.
Totally.